Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back to the home of champions, karting Genk in Belgium. It is the last day of official competition for the 2021 season, and at the end of the 10 races and also the 5 qualification sessions today, here being broadcasted live directly from the circuit, we will decide 6 champions. We will give away 6 tickets to the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals at the International Bahrain Karting Circuit between December the 11th and December the 18th this year. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, your official BNL Karting Series commentator, bidding you welcome. It is sunny, it is a little bit colder than it was yesterday morning, but temperatures are set to increase both in the ambient air and also the racing out on track. So we have 5 qualifying sessions over the course of the next hour or so before we go into racing action as of 11:45 this morning. And we have 6 Rotax powered classes about to go into battle for one final time, one final hurrah. And we have Micromax on the pre-grid waiting for their 5-minute qualification session. After yesterday's activities, Boaz Maximov took the day results with a total of 45 points, a second and a victory. In the pre-final and the final. Jens Moonen stormed back after a disqualification through a technical issue after qualifying from stone dead last to take the victory in the pre-final and took third in the final in the afternoon. Tom Pappenberg came into this round as the championship leader and has 25 points to his credit. Had a problem with the left front wheel. No steering arm was pretty much attached. So gave him 5 points, but still came back to fight back through to second on the road. And is tied on points on the day result from yesterday with Vic van Kampenhout in the number 24. And we're just under 15 seconds away from qualifying. Lucas Dorder rounds out the top 5 ahead of Germany's Noah Janssen, the pair equal on points. Felipe Reyes, James Roberts, Jack Freeman and Tristan Shays round out the top 10 overall. So the green flag waves end at the end of the pre-grid, and the drivers make their way out onto the 1,360-metre circuit for their brief 5-minute qualification session. So Jens Moonen was on pole before the issue, as we've already had a spinner going through turn number 2. The low-lying sun is glaring off the tarmac at the moment, but hopefully as the sun begins to rise a bit further up into the sky up above, we'll have a bit more an easier time of giving you an idea of who is out on track and where. So the Rotax roar back in full abandon here on the circuit as the drivers get up to full qualifying speed. And Tom Pappenberg has got Jack Freeman from Great Britain just up ahead. So the first couple of ideas will be given to us momentarily. Tom Pappenberg, a 1 minute 7.573. The slipstream here is quite useful, going down the main start-finish straight and through the Europlan between turns 6 and 7. And Freeman put in a 1 minute 7.980, but Stig de Rademacher in the number 79 from Belgium goes in with a 1 minute 7.518. Best qualifying times are round about in the high 1 minute 1s yesterday morning. So whether the cooler temperatures might help to give a little bit more air through the radiators on these Rotax Max Evo engines. So at the moment it's de Rademacher, Pappenberg, Freeman, Boaz Maximov. Rounding out the top 4. Denmark's Liam Sokol in the number 9 rounds out the top 5, covered by 1.65 seconds. Nearly at the halfway point of the qualification session. And Freeman and Pappenberg across the line once again. And Pappenberg quickly goes to the top of the timesheets, but then is quickly dropped down to second by Boaz Maximov. Jack Freeman remains in the top 3 at the moment. James Roberts, his compatriot, and Awning stablemate at Sodi Vitesse. Rounds out the top 9 on a 1 minute 4.138, so it's half a second between the top 9. Noah Janssen from Germany, who yesterday picked up some welcome results, a 4th and a 5th place finish for the German, vice champion in Rotax Max Challenge Germany this season. So the top 12 covered by just a fraction under a second. As we're into the last 1 minute and 45 on the timer. And Papenburg has been using that slipstream to very good effectiveness coming out of the final corner. Across the line once again. Freeman goes top of the timesheets, ahead of Papenburg this time. Boris Maximov quickly goes to the top of the timesheets, but then is quickly deposed once again, this time by Felipe Reis. Jente Moonen now goes top, ahead of Stig de Rademaker. 0.137 separates the top 2 as we head into the last 70 seconds of the session. Top 10 rounded out by James Roberts, covered by 0.825 seconds. Gaps between the likes of Boris Maximov and Jack Freeman, 0.08 of a second, 0.09 between Lucas Stordeur and Tom Papenburg, who ran at the top 7 at the present moment. One of the interesting things was, having a look over a couple of the roofs of some of the buildings just off the commentary tower, and there was a little bit of ice actually showing. So when I woke up, well, when I left where I've been staying here, 3 degrees Celsius was the temperature, so it looks like there has been a little bit of frost overnight, but not by much. And again, it changes. Felipe Reis now top of the timesheets. Vic van Kampenhout goes 4th. Roberts now goes ahead of Freeman with the number 93, now dropping down to 8th position. And this is the final flying lap attempt for these drivers. The timer now officially hit 0, so this is going to be the last time these drivers are going to register a flying lap here around the circuit of karting Genk. Now there was a bit of a clumsy moment there. That was involving the number 12 of Lucas Stordeur, who was a bit hung out to dry around the outside of going through into the turn 7 chicane. First driver to cross the line and take the checkered flag will be the number 48 of Tom Papenburg, currently 9th at the moment. He crosses the line. Does he improve? He does. Goes P2. Boris Maximov goes top of the timesheets. Felipe Reis can only muster as high as 3rd. Jack Freeman 9th. Liam Sekul 12th. Van Kampenhout goes 5th. Roberts 8th. Janssen 10th. And that now concludes the session. So Boris Maximov, yesterday's points winner, 45 points on the board, takes pole position provisionally by 39 thousandths of a second ahead of Jente Moonen. Tom Papenburg is a further 4 thousandths adrift in 3rd place. Felipe Reis, who at some point during the session was able to be at the top of the timesheets, 43 thousandths further back, so the top 4 covered by just shy of 9 100ths. Vic van Kampenhout and Stig de Rademaker and Lucas Stordeur make it a trio of Belgians that ran at the top 7 ahead of the great British pairing of James Roberts and Jack Freeman in the 37 and the 93. Noah Janssen rounds out the top 10 representing Germany in the 31 entry. Ahead of Tristan Shays in the 46. Liam Sekul from Denmark in the number 9 and the number 99 of Belgium's Mathis Piessens. So we're just a couple of minutes away from our second qualifying session out of 5 for the final race day of the season. This time it is going to be Minimax. Even though there's been 9 competitors, there's been some interesting racing action over yesterday's proceedings. And it was a double victory for Matej Radenkovic in the 196 from Buvin Power. Dave Stevens and Mies Huben got exactly the same points, but on countback, Dave Stevens was classified as second due to taking second position in the final yesterday afternoon. Lawrence Herboz has been in the thick of the action, taking 2 successive fourth place finishes, with Jake Menton rounding out the top 5. Mas van Rooyen in 6th, ahead of Kaz Tobben, Lars Lambers and Bruno Brazales, with the latter representing Latvia in the 138 entry. So the green flag waves at the end of the dummy grid. They will make their way out onto the circuit once again. The drivers holding back at the moment. The first driver to be out on circuit is GKS's Mies Huben. So the sunshine will increase. The clouds look to be dispersing a little bit later on, with highs around about 16 to 17 degrees Celsius. We hit 18 degrees yesterday. So all drivers, all 9 of them, now out on the circuit. So it's Lawrence Herboz that leads the way, with the benchmark being set at a 1 minute 3.621. I think, if memory serves me correctly, Radenkovic was on pole. I'm just trying to remember what the lap time was. I think it was it was around about the 1 minute barrier, or probably just under. Dave Stevens, Mies Huben, Mas van Rooyen round out the top 4 so far, but that will all change very, very soon indeed. Now, all sessions called by myself up here in the commentary position are provisional, pending any technical and sporting checks. Now Mies Huben is on the top of the timesheets before Matej Radenkovic puts in a 1 minute 512 second lap time. Quickly trumped by Dave Stevens. 1 minute 423. We're over the halfway mark in terms of the qualifying session itself. So after this we'll have Junior Rotax, then we'll have the 2 respective groups, driven by a random lottery draw for Senior Rotax. And then DD2 and DD2 Masters will be the last drivers to qualify. And Hubin again goes quickest, but by the narrowest of margins, 3/1000ths of a second. And then Radenkovic goes into the 59.7s. So the gap between Mateo Radenkovic and now Dave Stevens becomes just over 0.42 of a second. Less than a minute and 20 on the clock remaining. So there's Radenkovic from Stevens, Hubin, Menton, Van Rooyen rounding out the top 5, all covered by just over 3/4 of a second. There's Lawrence Herboz, Kaz Tobin, Lars Lambers and Bruno Brazelis. And the slipstream proving to be very, very efficient as always around here at Carlton Genk, come wet or dry. As Hubin crosses the line once again. Menton's crossed the line and gone second. Hubin has improved but stays 4th at the minute as he leads the charge around the 1,360 metre circuit here at Carlton Genk as he makes his way through into turn number 6 onto the Europolan. So 2 drivers, Mateo Radenkovic and Dave Stevens, both underneath the 60-second bracket. The gap between first and second in the battle for pole position is just over 2/10. Timer strikes 0, so this time they will get the checkered. So you have Hubin, Stevens and Menton being the first to take the checkered. Hubin crosses the line, stays 4th. Menton 5th, Herboz Menton 3rd, Herboz 5th, Brazelis from Latvia in 8th, and Radenkovic goes quicker still. Dave Stevens about to cross the line, and it is Radenkovic that takes provisional pole once again. The 59.662 second lap time from the Belgian from Hubin Power in the 196. Dave Stevens, Jake Menton, Nies Hubin round out the top 4, covered by 0.56 of a second. The entire 9-strong grid covered by a second, with Van Rooyen in 5th, Herboz in 6th, Kaz Tobin, Lars Lambers and Bruno Brazelis rounding out the top 9. And Radenkovic securing pole by 2 3/4 of a second from Dave Stevens after a 5-minute rapid-fire qualifying session. Just had some official results come in that due to having a front fairing in after qualifying, Jens Moonen, who actually qualified in 2nd position, will start in the pre-final in 5th place. So we now pay our attention to Junior Rotax here this morning for qualification. Yesterday was a turn for the books, and it all happened when a certain little individual, but well, not so little anymore. I remember when he was still running as a Micromax driver, Tommy van der Stroys, pipped Kai Rielets for the first victory and then went on to do the double yesterday. So van der Stroys in the 254 has a total of 50 points to his credit. He actually won the first final by 4/100ths of a second at the checkered. Kai Rielets coming into this round, who pretty much has assured the title this season, took a 40 points yesterday with 2 second place finishes. Good to see the officer Job Briefeld rounding out the top 3 in the standings. Successive third place finishes. He could have even maybe have stolen the victory from under the noses of Rielets and van der Stroys yesterday for the first race. Matthijs Turlo, who is second in the championship currently, rounds out the top 4 ahead of Vic Stevens. But those watching at home on the stream, just keep your eyes on what the action is going to be doing over the next few hours, because we are going to have some fantastic racing. Vic Stevens and Farin Mega ran out the top 6. Kasper Schurmans, who has had a really good show in qualifying, things didn't work out in the first race yesterday at the pre-final, but came back. Austin Lee in the number 223 rounds out, is equal on points, as is Taze Dams. A good solid 8 points per race for Austin Lee yesterday, finishing in 8th position. Was running as high as the top 5 during one of the races yesterday. Taze Dams in there. Nick Gerhards, it's been a difficult one for the youngster from SP Motorsport. He completes the top 10. But with the top 15 in each race scoring points, it's rather pertinent. But very interesting catching up with Kai Rielets over the course of the weekend and before the event itself. He said, JJ Racing are looking pretty good. We as a team want to score as many points. We've got drivers, that could show a good